Warm welcome to each one of you. This is a Naomi talk show with yours truly, Liz Kenywa. And allow me to begin by appreciating each one of you that has watched our content, shared it with their friends, left a comment, and even given us suggestions on some of the guests and topics you can get to handle in this space. We truly appreciate your input, and it is highly valued. We are working on it where we've not yet even started working on it, and we assure you utaanza kuiona hivi karibuni. Otherwise, asanteni sana sana sana. So today we have an interesting topic that I want us to look at. Healthy and unhealthy relationship. The way God has wired us and, the way we are created, we are relational human beings. And sometimes we are not clear on where and how far to go, how far to accommodate some things. Out of ignorance and sometimes knowingly, we get ourselves into spaces where we are in unhealthy relationships. But then again, we also find ourselves in spaces where we call what is healthy unhealthy because we don't know what is healthy. So today we are going to draw the lines. The healthy relationships and then the unhealthy. The way we call it out here, toxic and untoxic relationships. And we have a guest on set today who is going to shed light and give info, educate us on what is healthy and unhealthy. And before I take too much time, allow me to let our guest introduce himself and tell us more about who you are.
All right. Thank you so much, viewers. And thank you so much for hosting me. I love the way you've introduced the topic. And I believe that we're going to have a good discussion.
Yes.
And for the glory of God. My name is Douglas Angogo. I am born again. I am married to one wife. She's the most beautiful woman on earth.
Eish.
Yeah, she's called Jambi Mushogia. And we have 3 daughters. Shama, Tasha, and Sifa. I'm a marriage consultant. I do family life, and I venture more in a lot of things that do with family, parenting, teenagers, and relationships. I'm also an author of various books, and by the grace of God, I'm also a minister of the Word of God. That is who I am. Thank you.
Wow, today we are going to learn. So before we proceed there, get yourself a notebook and a pen, a quiet space to listen to this because learning begins now. Okay? Healthy and unhealthy relationships. Which one is which?
Like you said, that human beings are wired for relationships.
Yes.
And just trying to look at the creation story, we look at how God was able to create the universe. And in each case, he was trying to be that the space he's providing has a living thing inside. And as you see, when you're creating the water, he understands that water can only be a hub for fish. He doesn't put in rabbits. He creates the land. He knows the land belongs to animals, the air and all that. And looking at everything after Genesis chapter 1 verse 31 say, and everything that God created was good. So God himself said, by the way, this is awesome.
Yes.
And that means he was able to see, I've created a space for every organism to thrive. And that brings the space of relationships. Going to Genesis chapter 2, when now God was creating now the story of Adam and Eve. So before Eve was created, God had to allow Adam to name all the animals. And you see Adam naming all the animals, male and female. That's the space of relationship and the space of probably creating a space of unity in terms of relationships. And then now Adam comes in, and Adam tells, but the way, after all naming all these animals, there's only man, the only person who is single here is Douglas, and that is Adam. So he says, let me see what to do. He says, no one is comparable to me. So meaning any other relationship is not fit to me. It is a relationship, yes, but it is not comparable. It's not what I need. And that's when I talk about healthy and unhealthy relationships.
Yes.
There's some relationships that you look at and discover that these ones are okay, but they're not fit for me. And then if Adam says, God sees that, and then God says, let me create for a helper. That's the first place we see relationship being instituted in the Garden of Eden. God doesn't expect us. In fact, God desires for us is to have a healthy relationship.
Exactly.
But we understand what happens in the Garden of Eden. Now we get to a place where by now there's a lot of conflicts. When the enemy comes in, the enemy tells Adam, but the way eat this. Eve eats, and then when God is coming in asking questions, and then Eve says it's the man you gave me. Adam says the wife you gave me. So complaints start there, and then now the friction starts. That relationship that God had with Adam in the Eden now becomes a bit unhealthy. So now the word unhealthy means not growing.
Yes.
Probably you can use the word unhealthy means not conducive.
Yes.
Yes. But a healthy means it is what is growing and purely where the two of you are thriving together. And that's when we call it toxic or non-toxic. But if we talk about toxic, I was remembering the word toxic means poisonous or dangerous. So you might be in a relationship, but it is a dangerous place. It's a toxic place. It is a poisonous place. So if in a poisonous space, it's either going to be affected or you'll be able to take that poison slowly by slowly. You won't die immediately, but it kills you slowly. So unhealthy relationships is whereby you're in a space whereby the two of you, if it's a romantic relationship, are in a space where you can say one is, I'm trying to use the right word, one is trying to tolerate the other person. Or in other words, either one is a boss, the other one is a client. Yes.
But when you put it like that, I think love is patient, love is kind, and love can stomach a little bit of that. Because there are places where I think sometimes the word toxic has also been abused. And in a generation where probably like a birthday is a big issue, a guy forgets the birthday date for this girl, and the guy is called and branded toxic. So before we even get to the confusion where it lies, paint to us qualities of a good, healthy relationship.
One is, like you say, it's true, that probably we might assume some routine. And you see, that's why we assume and call this a toxic thing.
Yes.
But like you're saying, it's not out of someone's probably desire to do this to you. Unfortunately, people who are narcissists, they are being labeled in terms of toxic, but because they don't know what they're doing. Because these guys...
Did you say double toxic?
Toxic, they just call toxic people.
Okay.
Anyone who is a narcissist.
Yeah.
So people assume that these guys are always negative, they don't always appreciate anything. But if you come to a healthy relationship, one thing I'll say where there's mutual understanding. What I mean is the man and the wife, or the girlfriend and the boyfriend, let's talk about those who are not married, the two people can mutually agree on a given discussion. So there's what you call mutual communication.
Yes.
There's an agreement, not on everything, but there's a discussion.
Yes, because
so
then if you agree on everything, someone is faking
it. Yeah. So there's whereby the two of you can probably, there's no fear consulting from the other person. So if let me say, if maybe like Mr. Kenya is going to buy a TV, and then he comes in with a very big TV, and he tells you, I bought this TV for you. And then you ask him, why did you buy this? Say, it's because I had the money. Then you feel, even if you had the money, there was a bit of, just tell me you're going to buy this. Maybe I could have helped you to choose the right one.
Exactly.
So when we talk about consulting, is whereby the two couple, a couple in marriage or dating couple, will be able to see the other person as important as him in the conversation. So I don't overlook the other person's strength, and I don't look at them as not equal to what I'm supposed to do. So in a healthy relationship is whereby the two in relationship are able to, one, consult with one another, two, mutually communicate, not give information. The way by a couple will just tell you, but the way I'm going to buy this, by the way, it's not a communication in a marriage relationship. So it's where two couples can mutually agree and communicate with, not to one another. Whereby, let's talk about this, let's discuss about this. So that's the number two. Number one, there must be mutual communication. Number two, there must be what you call consulting.
Yes.
Where the couples feel like we can talk about this together and see the way forward. That's a healthy relationship. Number three is whereby the couple in a relationship, there's no what you call intimidation.
You feel safe.
Yes, there's a safe space whereby no one will tell me that if you don't do this. And I normally say, if you normally use your sentence as a spouse to your spouse, or as a couple to the person you're dating or marrying, and you normally use the word if you, if you don't do this, if you don't do this. So it means I have to do this because I've been told if I don't do this, this will happen. So if you don't probably do what this guy had put in quotes, then you feel like you're going to face some repercussions. So in short, there's conditions.
Yeah.
So there's a condition that will be given to this. So that creates an healthy relationship. Another thing about healthy relationship is whereby you talk about the space of, I'll talk about this word I'm trying to forget. We've talked about communication, talk about intimidation, then manipulation. Yeah. So anytime a couple is manipulated, where they cannot voice, maybe you want to raise up a point, and then after you discuss that point will not be taken into consideration. So you'll speak, and then the other person will he'll pick his own decision. So you guys have agreed, let's do this, let's go and probably at this holiday, let's not go to Shago, let's go to visit our aunt in this place. Then you finish. But now coming that day, you'll be told, we are going. Where are we going? We're going to Shago. But you discussed that you're not going to Shago. So this guy, that discussion was just there for you guys to see that you're in the conversation. But decision making is made by one person. So that is a healthy relationship. But what is healthy whereby we discuss and agree together. Another thing that my had.
Let me ask another point before you continue with the other point. In the African context, the man comes, okay, previously, I think now life is changing.
Yeah.
The man's, what he says is the way and no other way. So he can actually come at noon and tell you in the next 1 hour you should have packed. We are going to the village.
Yeah.
And you as a wife now is to start mobilizing and packing and doing all those kind of stuff. So are we trying to say that even in those older days relationships were also very toxic, or are we also too sensitive?
I'll say not really too sensitive. I was just asking my wife the other day. Most of our parents, specifically Generation Y, going backwards, Alpha, yeah? So like your parent, you'll be able to see in our village, there's a parent or a husband who will really be not even supporting the wife. Or the wife will be always under that threat, being battered, or just toxic marriage, or the wife will stay. We'll never see them packing and going. Or they'll pack and go back and come back again. But nowadays, you see what happens. A simple disagreement, the man or the wife says, I'd rather stay alone. So there's a dynamic that is changing, whereby people don't view marriage in terms of permanency and a relationship. And that's why when you say I do, you don't say I do to only maybe at a limit. Both the husband and the wife said, I do. You are saying I do to our decisions. I say I do to your opinions. I say I do to your reasoning. It is not because of that altar. So when you talk about what is changing right now is because you're not ignoring the fact that there's a head, what the husband need to say. But as Pastor Ambrose normally says, the head can function, yes, but the head can never function without the neck and without the body. So if you want to go to Westland, you cannot force your legs to go to Westland. So the legs must cooperate. So it means as much as I'm the head, we are equal partners in this marriage. Positionally, we are different. But in terms of roles and decision making, we are equal in this. Yes.
Fine. So we go back. Now we are talked of manipulation. We are talked of you don't feel intimidated. There's consultation. And there's mutual understanding and communication. So anything else we need to add?
There are no threats.
You don't feel threatened?
Yes.
Or there are no threats?
Yeah, especially in terms of conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have seen whereby a young girl will tell you, but why is it that when I talk to this person about this, he's giving me options, or he's telling me if I don't do this, I will leave you. Mm-hmm. So we need to do this together, but I've been told, especially when someone makes a mistake, and then I come and say, by the way, Douglas, you did this. Mm. And then because I did it, I want to make you feel like it was not by deliberate. So it's like some apologies. I want to say, by the way, it's because of you. You're the one who did this. You're the one who pushed me to do this. Yes, the other person, yeah. Yes, yeah. And then now, when you continue asking me, why did you do this, Douglas? Then you say, this is too much. If you don't love me, if you don't want to understand what I'm saying, then look for someone else to stay with. So what happens, then because I feel like this will end, I'll just cool down because I've been given a threat that if you don't accept what I'm saying, then look for someone else to stay with. Or I will leave this place and never come back again. So we're leaving this because there's always a fear he might leave me. That's a toxic relationship. Yes.
So, okay, there's a scenario, probably, let's put it this way, that this couple or these people that are dating are planning for a getaway. And the guy puts his feet down and says it has to happen. It has never happened before, but right now he seems to have put his feet down. Will you judge that to be a toxic relationship because of one incident? Or at what point do you now are able to say, now this is a toxic relationship?
You see, we have what we call a pattern.
Yes.
So you don't just conclude any decision this guy is making, because sometimes you may come from town. You didn't even plan that you're going to buy this and this. You just buy it and take it home. Or you reach at home and say, but then my friend, I didn't remember to tell you, we need to go and visit my friend. They have supper this evening. Let's go. But you see, when there's a pattern of a repeated thing that keeps you off as a partner, where one partner becomes more domineering,
yes,
or they take a lot of probably say in that relationship, then that becomes a pattern. Everything you say is shut down. Like probably today say, but the way, what do you think about this? Can we, at this weekend, let's go to church in this place? And I'm put down. The next week I say again this thing, then I'm put down. The other day I'm saying I'm put down. Then that becomes a pattern. So it becomes a pattern. And let me say this: when you're in a poisonous relationship, it's either the environment or the person. And one thing that will happen is, whether you like it or not, the one who is being affected will start withdrawing. So as a person, you'll be able to understand, by the way, how do I feel after this reaction? Because anytime you feel like I'm not being given an opportunity, I'm not someone in this marriage, then that becomes a place of you starting dying. Because some poison don't kill once. Some poison kills slowly.
Yes.
And that's when that pattern comes on every time, it becomes like a dying slowly moment. That's what they do normally when they're killing maybe these animals, the human killing of animals. You don't just slaughter like you normally slaughter at home. Just take the cook and chinja. You keep some, it's called sulbiflorine, some chemicals that you mix, and then you just put it in a bottle, then put that chemical. It just be there, playing and jumping around. They normally say you cannot kill, if you want to kill a rat, a frog, what do? You don't put it in hot water. You put it in cold water on the jiko, and then it's warming up. It just be jumping in. At the end of it, that's what happens to relationship. It is never, it's not always sudden. It is subtle, slowly by slowly. But I mentioned one word: remember the patterns. If you see the normal pattern going on, you are not an equal partner.
Yes.
And God said that all of us were one. Oneness means in mind, in decision making. Like I said, positionally we are different. Those are God created us. But in roles, we are the same. Yeah. So master the patterns.
I think it is important even for anyone coming across our content to underline that it's a pattern.
Yeah.
So that one mistake, human is to error. Probably they forgot something and their response at that moment was to justify themselves. Please don't label them as toxic. You have to study a pattern, as he says, and be able to now conclusively say, I think we have a problem here. So the next question is, besides the assumption is we always hear quickly, walk away, walk out of a toxic relationship. Do you think there is redemption for such kind of situation? Ama it is one way, walk out, walk out, walk out.
I don't think there's, it is impossible to redeem it. One thing I normally say is there must be an avenue of communication.
Yes.
Toxic relationships are not like red flags. I don't call them red flag because it is something that you have learned from this person, but now they're redeemable based on if this person is teachable and accepts correction. I know you might have tried it, because sometimes you can tell, hey, let's talk about this, then talk about it today, and then tomorrow it repeats itself.
Yes.
So it's a place of accountability. I normally say every couple needs a couple. beside Jesus
Yes.
with their couple. Because some of us say, but the Christ is the head of this family, and is the third strand in this marriage. Yes, he's there, but the same God uses people to redeem marriages. So I'll say, when you're in a toxic relationship, or you feel like you're in an unhealthy relationship, voice it out. Because a challenge that you have, Naomi, is this: most people who are in these relationships, they don't speak up.
Yes.
Now, they don't speak up to the person they feel they treat them bad, so they have an assumption this guy should read. So what I'll do is I'll just go cold treatment. So I avoid cooking for you. I saw another video yesterday somewhere that was just running around. Someone said, "Hey, I wish this lady should see the way he has a humble husband." And this wife was just throwing food on the table, and then this guy's like, "Okay, let me wash my hands." They wash the hands, then he throw the food there, the plate there. The guy says, "Which one do I eat?" The lady say, "Any." Then the guy says, "Put for me." Then he puts. Then he say, "Okay, let's pray." And then the lady say, "You pray." The guy pray, and then the lady say, "I'm going to in the kitchen." So some of us are using that tactic. You're in a toxic relationship, but you don't want to speak it out, because voicing out means this guy should understand. Because some of the things that happen in life is, I don't know if it has ever happened to you, whereby you went to see someone, maybe you had a friend that you had an issue with, you felt you had an issue with. So you can't tell Douglas, "Oh, Douglas, I realized this day when I said, maybe I said this word to you, I've read that maybe I wronged you." So when you come to Douglas and say, "But me, I didn't know," that is a simple thing. But for you, when you say, "Douglas, I think yesterday I mentioned this word to you, and I've just been thinking, I feel like nimekukosea." But when you come to Douglas and say, I didn't know that was a problem. They were just joking. So when you don't voice it out, the other person wants to be able to know.
Yes.
So speak it out. Tell this guy, by the way, I don't like the way you're treating me. And let me tell you this, toxicity is not a character issue. It grows. I've been married for the last 10 years, but I'll tell you, some of the times we'll sit down and say, "But the way, I've realized that anytime I say this, you don't take it up. So you're the one who's doing everything that you say." So when they come up, they're like, "By the way, I've realized nimekuwa puppet. So everything that we're doing in this house, you voice it out. So I don't have a voice." And then they'll tell you, "Now do the way you can." So when you don't speak it out, then you'll be blaming this person. So I normally say, tell this guy, "Hey Douglas, I feel like we're not together. Like the other day, we were discussing this, and then this is what we had agreed to do, but you went and did this. I also feel like the other day we discussed about this issue, you also went ahead and did this. And I feel like I'm not really in this marriage because I'm not part of what we're discussing. Is there a problem?" If this guy is really, or the chick, because it can be either the man or the lady. So if either of these couple is going to be the way, I see where the problem is. And then they'll ask you, what do you need to do? Tell them, you need to be discussing these things because we are both together. So voice it out. If it doesn't work, the Bible says, if it's not sorted by one person, in the book of Matthew, I think, then call an elder. So meaning, call your best couples. Call some people that you're accountable to. Still doesn't mean best couple, because some best couples, they were there ceremoniously. Job Elisha during the wedding, and they're there on your certificate. Kushikilia gown na kupanguza jasho na kusema we are the best couple. This is in the certificate. So look for someone that you're accountable to, a couple friend.
Yes.
And tell this guy, can we maybe discuss this further? If it doesn't work now, involve another party. Now go outside. So it is redeemable by changing the way you treat the other person. But there must be a discussion.
So we don't need to just walk out.
I don't think walk out from every... You always face toxic people in life. You will always. Even that boss that looks like he's the best boss, one will tell you one thing and you're like, boy, you're the one who said this.
You resign.
So you resign again, go another one. So just discuss it. But if it persists, maybe I'll say this by a lot of care. I don't really advocate for walking out in marriage.
Yes.
I really believe that marriage, hakuna kitu nasemaga unresolvable conflicts. We're just tagging things. Why did we walk out? We had unresolvable conflicts. And then he was saying, what was the problem? He could understand me. Who said it unresolvable? So me, I normally say, yes, in marriage, there are things you must work on as a couple.
But at that point, allow me to disrupt you. I think don't you think it's an issue of maturity and immaturity? If, as you said, for example, you ask what is a problem, that the person does not understand me.
Yeah.
I think it's about maturity at that level.
Because even if this guy doesn't understand you,
Yes.
because you guys are not discussed.
Yes.
So why do you think he's not understanding you? Maybe the one is not understanding. And that's why it is good to study patterns and then discuss the patterns. Because when you think I know what you're going through, I also think you know what I'm going through. Like I said, assumption is the worst enemy of a marriage.
Yeah.
When I assume that this guy knows he's treating me wrong, and then for me, who is treating you wrong, I assume you know this is just me. For me, it is just a normal way. But for you, think it is bad. But how can you discuss it? So normally say there's nothing we call, I just feel like he's not treating me like. But like I think our bishop said, that any marriage that goes astray is not a one-party thing. The two of you,
yes,
in one way, kuna mtu alichangia hiyo ndoa kuvunjika. So like I said, toxicity is not a big issue. Just go to the normal chemistry. If you have a drug that is probably so poisonous, they tell you can dilute it. When you dilute it, what happens? It becomes this poisonous. So one of diluting our toxicity is by just engaging this person, talk about it, and then normally say divine intervention.
Yes.
There's nothing that God can never change.
Yeah.
So pray and also deal with the issue. So most of them you can be there, and maybe this guy, he's treating you this way because the way he was raised up. That's why you talk about it. Maybe this guy was raised up in a very military family, whereby the dad was everything, and the dad will say this, and the mom will comply, and this has been transferred. So this guy feel like, but the way this is how people treat one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't talk about it, this guy will be like, well, for me, I'm doing what I think I know.
And what is right?
This is right according to us. And like we said, culture and society. But unless you bring this person there, but then these are your parents. But you have changed. So there's no way I come home at 6, at 9, and because you saw your mom coming, your dad coming home at 9, and they get food on the table, so I have to come at 9 and set cooking for you. So when you trace back why this guy or this chick is cheating this way, it is easy to solve. That's why I say, look for the dilution methods. Is it because the way he was brought up? Is he trying to really hide a problem? Because some of us will act very weird or act very harsh or intimidating and manipulating because of our past. Maybe in our previous relationship, probably the person I was dating was so hard on me. So I've developed the same mechanism to also grow in terms of, where are you? Because some of us will be like, hey, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? Why are you not at home right now? And you discover this guy is not monitoring you, but it's just out of insecurity.
Yeah.
That he's trying to really try. My last relationship, before I got married to you, I had an issue with insecurity for my fiancé. So I'm trying to just be careful. Are you okay? Are you safe? Who you're talking with? Where are you going with them? You see guys who will go, you have probably a job. They normally call them NDA vocations, maybe trainings, you go to the course. And your husband will say, I'll go with you.
Oh.
Yes, I've seen those issues. It's a company thing. It's not even part of the staff.
Yes.
He's telling you, I'll pay to be the same place with you. And for you to be like, oh, this guy is too much, this toxic. But digging deep, they'll say, can you dilute this thing by discussing? Kapatom say, in its previous relationship, something happened out of the same. I heard of a guy who was saying that he fears marrying from a given tribe because he was betrayed. Yes, okay, trace back with Jumbo Msana baby, but then he's going to the coast, city himself or insecure, Amani and Kitu. This guy is coming from our past.
Yeah.
So one way to bring back, like you say, how do you redeem it? If this guy is having that insecurity issues because of now you've done about his past, so you become present. Show him that act or behave in a way that you'll never have a trust issue. I've seen that. If it's because of the way his parents used to treat each other, and then he's becoming harder, I'm the man in the house, Mindo Kusema, my decision goes. Then after learning where he's coming from, and then bringing that redemption about now, this is us. We can have our mother is supposed to be. Then you'll be able to treat or handle him from his past. Or handle from his past.
So again, thank you for that explanation. Now, toxic and red flags, are they one and the same thing?
Not really, but they are, I think, intertwined, and probably one leads to another one. A red flag is like a danger sign. And like I said, which I normally advocate for couple who are dating.
Yes.
a red flag should warn you, by the way, this is not going to change. And I normally say it's better to break a relationship than break a marriage. So I normally say if you're in marriage, like Bishop normally say, you're there to stay.
Yeah.
So try to make sure that whatever comes, because you'll have the floods, you'll have the winds, you'll have the rains, you'll have all those, even the good times. But now those vows will be tested by even such things like toxicity. But you see, this toxic person, if it's a pattern, it didn't start in marriage. It didn't start in marriage. No. This guy didn't just, of course, marriage becomes like get off the mask. Yeah?
Yes.
But the pattern that you still see even in dating season, that's what we call the red flags. Now, example, if I'm dating and this chick, when you go for coffee, and the waiter is a lady, and the guy has ordered, and the waiter is not only serving you, he has maybe another 30 people to serve. So he's taking orders and he's serving people according to the order picked. And your guy start complaining and shouting and saying, look at this girl, how do you take my order for 1 hour? What's wrong with you? Do you know that I'm hungry? And then as a chick, you're there smiling and saying, there goes my man.
Of course, he's defending you.
Yeah, my man can talk, my man can, hey, my man, this is a man. This man is a lion. And then you're there seated. The next time you do the same thing. And you feel like this is a man. Now get married. So delay bring the food on the table for 1 hour. The same thing happened there.
So it will be 2 times.
Yes. Because for you think, but this man is a hero. He does not want delays. He's umsangu ni mkali. That's the way he talks to people. He's straightforward. Now you forget that what he's doing to this chick. This is a chick. And also a chick. If this is how he treats ladies, you're not going to be treated different in the house. One day he'll cook and delay because of the baby, you're trying to nurse the baby, and he'll shout to you at the same time. So those are the red flags. What you see in dating will translate it to marriage even twice. Say marriage bring it into multiples. Yeah, so those are red flags. Now the pattern is now what you have assumed, and then it comes back into marriage. So now that comes the toxicity. So I normally say, for you to be in a toxic relationship, you are once in it before.
But I think love was too much.
You assume that it was yellow.
Only it was where they say where love is too blind. Everything you show, everything else.
And that's even delaying. I know it's even delaying. There's a situation you had someone, they said, even if you call for a chick for a date, the chick comes at 3 p.m. and to meet at 12. And there's one who say, it's okay, no problem. It's okay, I'm okay with that. Let's have tea. The whole time they're dating, this chick comes late, but you're okay. When you get married, she knows it's a pattern. You don't have a problem. She does things without probably keeping time, and then now you raise up your voice. And you're now, this chick is not respecting me. Who did that? These things were being planted in your dating season.
But I think dating also, people fake a lot. That's when you have grace to eat for someone for 3 hours.
Yes, but you see, as you fake it, let me say this. If somebody said habits can never be hidden for more than 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. So
if it is something that is continuing, it becomes a pattern. So it's either marry that pattern or let's talk about that pattern before. Especially as a joke that was said, a young guy was dating a younger chick, and then akatembelea msichana kwa nyumba yake. The chick cooked very nice githeri, but ikaungua kidogo. And the guy was like, wow, this is the best I love. Kwanza kiungua hivi ndio tamu. And the guy was like, this is my favorite. So when this guy got married, the chick knew. For githeri, kaungua kiasi, kakuna harufu kitu imeungua. And then he brought this guy. The guy was mad. He threw tantrums. He abused this lady. He said, what happened? But I thought this is what you love.
Yes.
Because you said you love this.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, no. That's why you can only fake it for 6 months. So even as you're dating, if you see a red flag, the chick was dating another guy and we are doing some class of PMCC. So the chick said, I want to join the PMCC class. So I told her it's okay, but you must do the 2 of you. I don't do PMC for one person, you must come the 2 of you. So he said, let me talk to my guy. So I sent him a form. He said the guy said he's okay. He doesn't need learning. Yes. And the chick said, let me give him 1 week. After 2 weeks, the chick discovered this guy didn't want to commit because he was also dating another lady. So even just commitment to things. Let me tell you, let's go for a session. We have a marriage enrichment forum. Can we go as single people to learn about marriage? And the guy says no. And then you think it's just a red flag? There's a red flag. When you get married, even tell you, by the way, I don't need your bishop to preach to me. I can read my Bible and study and become better. So that's a red flag. The things you see and you assume. When you get into marriage, they become now, this man is toxic, this man abuses me, he doesn't go to church, he intimidates me, but he used to do it before. And you said, baby, it's okay. It's okay, baby. No, the baby thing must end. Dating is not for only straws. Kukunywa straw moja watu wawili. As you do that, think about marriage that needs you to become two.
Kuna audience wako hapa wanacheka wako pande ile. They also taking notes because
one thing that happens, let me tell you, Naomi, we are losing it in marriage because we're starting it wrong. If you don't get it right, you don't make it right. And that's why most of the young people, like you talk about this generation, we fear commitment.
Yeah.
So we are so much into quick microwave and quick unfixing. So we fix a marriage, we won't fix the marriage. We go for dates because we want to show off.
Yeah.
And we take selfies a lot,
post them
and
everywhere.
Post them a lot, and then come back and say, but the way we are no more. Why? Yeah. Because the time to take data collection, you are taking photo collections.
I know. Yeah. And going to the studio.
And go to the studio.
Photo shoots.
Showing us at Java. It's okay. Get married. You don't ever see you at Java. Why? Because you are not collecting data. When you go for a date and you're able to, let me learn about this person. How does he talk? Even how does he eat?
Yeah. Even how does he chew his food?
Even chew his food. Yeah. But even the way he's sitting people around, the way he talks about his mom, he talks about his sisters. If he's a chick, how he talks about his brothers. And like, but the way, I don't like my brothers. My brothers, I don't like them. And you feel like you're going to the man who's going to be like, no. Ask him why. Because it's coming from a painful wound. There's something he's dealing with. But don't assume this guy, this chick doesn't like his family, but he loves me. Love is not really, I can say unbalanced. Love is straight. You cannot hate one and love one. You can't have double love in your heart. So we are suffering from the toxicity because we are screening the toxic in dating season. Tunasema hii anakuanga tu hivyo. So akishakuwa hivyo kwa marriage, pastor, I made a mistake.
That's why they say love is blind, but marriage is the eye opener.
And that's why people fall in love and they break their hearts. Don't fall in love. Grow in love.
Man. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Grow in love.
So those are watching us, but don't fall in love.
Yes.
Because if anything that falls down breaks. If it doesn't break, then there's a crack. So you'll see the crack in marriage.
Higher. So we've seen scenarios and situations where people choose to cover, sugarcoat, even when the relationship is toxic now, almost graduating to a violent kind of relationship. And why do you think people choose to hang in there, even when things are so bad?
What I think is the commitment to the vows, which I'll say is the best thing, yes. But you see, get out of that marriage when you're physically maybe abused. When you're at your health and your life is in danger. I think holding on to the vows is just a commitment to God. I normally say we don't lose our marriages because of the things you're going through, but because probably we hold it slightly kidogo. And maybe nenda kwa marriage kana niko na option ya exit clause. So nimesema, by the way, if Douglas ever did this to me, I will go. We once did a show at KTN and we were shooting it at somewhere in Safaricom. So this chick was there. We're just having a story, just on the panel. Then we are discussing about what will lead to make it to legal marriage. Then this chick says, for me, if he ever cheats on me, I will pack and go. Tell him, yeah, that's a very valid reason. That's very great. So I told him, let's see. What if you ever cheats on him? If you're the one who cheats, what will you do? Because I will really seek for reconciliation and beg for forgiveness. And that's what you normally do. When you put an exit clause, the clause will come. It normally will present itself. But the way it may come. So, like Harrison normally say, when you get in a marriage, just take the keys and then lock yourself in the house. Throw the keys in the sea. So no one is moving outside. So kama kimemana kiumane tu. Kama kimekata kimekatae tu. And not because I'm going to suffer, but when things are going tough, you talk about holding to it. I'll call Naomi, come, let's discuss this. I'll call Douglas, come discuss this. But in the marriage context. So holding on to your vows, I think It's a space whereby now God even comes in for you. But as you hold kama unakufa, hold as you hold other people's hands. Yeah.
This one is a little bit political. Between men and women, women seem to raise the flag more on toxic relationship. I'm in a toxic more than men. Is it that women are more sensitive, or they pick on issues, or is it that men are naturally toxic?
I think I'll go the first one. Naomi, let's talk about this. You talk about two things. Ladies are more sensitive, or a bit oversensitive.
Okay. Oversensitive.
Yes.
Okay.
Then number two, they pick a lot of things. Yeah. I'll explain. There's no man who's born a toxic person. So there's no toxicity. But we pick toxicity from the environment around us. For the lady to be oversensitive, because I think for them say that they saw this, but at the same time, the same lady will say, I think I overlooked this. I wish I knew. I wish I could give myself time. So why ladies become more found in this space of, I saw this thing in this man and then I assumed it was just chocolate. It's because ladies, I'll say, they become vulnerable very fast. Especially if the lady is really focusing on to marriage. Most ladies focus on to marriage, the first date. Most men focus on the honeymoon, the first date. That's why a lady will meet you and is seeing a wedding that he's been planning for. Very sure. He has seen that dress. And for a man, he will see you. Men, after this, please spare me. A man sees a lady, and this last thing in his mind is marriage. The first thing in his mind is honeymoon. So the lady will be vulnerable because I'm looking for an event. The man will be open, waiting for honeymoon. That's when now the lady becomes vulnerable. She'll be able to open up, and at the end of it, this man wasn't for the wedding. So the process is very long. Then the lady discovers. Yeah. Men are not toxic. The environment is toxic.
How can you say men are not toxic more than the women? It's the environment. But the women are also being raised in the same environment.
Men are not really, like you said, naturally toxic. The same way, not ladies. But what happened is, I think the place of understanding one another, there's no one who outgrows the other one in the way me nule guru kwa toxic, but ni vile na ku understand. I'm going to discuss. Yes, men see flaws very kidogo. We overlook flaws. Yes. Yeah? But ladies pick a flaw and they card red siyachi. That's when now ladies become very easy to understand this is wrong and either move out or be, but the way I saw this. I'm also but they kwanga shida. Alikuwa anaonganga hivyo, mimi sikujua hiyo ni shida. Why? Because for men we don't really look at magnify things. We assume this will subside. That's why ladies will tell you, but when I got to this marriage, then what I saw in this man came up. But the man will be like, but the way what I saw in this lady, I don't think is a big problem. So just the way we pick things. Ladies pick things and identify either a big challenge or we assume it will grow out. And the same way as we pick them, we also assume as ladies, because we feel like, but the way, hata kama akona shida akona anger issues, but this guy is romantic. So you're trying to balance.
Yes.
So umse akipromise ikifika siku ya birthday yangu, this guy spoils me. But he has anger issues. But I normally say when there's a word but, please deal with the word before. Assume yes. This guy has anger issues, but it treats me well. So please, even if it's treating you, that's when now they say, but I never saw this. Why? Because you overlooked the flaws and you kept yourself safe in the provisions. Now, on the men's side, in terms of toxicity, like I said, we normally don't pick up issues and make them bigger because we assume that we're able to deal with them. So by the time we need toxicity, we have to deny or come on because we're like, by the way, it is overcomable. That's why it becomes hard for men to identify a toxic lady. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That is quite an interesting outlook, though. The same environment. That's a topic for another day. Probably would have a lady also on sets.
Yeah.
To
the environment right? That's why I said men, where they hang up, is what create that space of toxicity. There's a man will come from a. Have you heard of a man, alikuwa tu akitoka kwa nyumba akaenda job. But joining this guy has changed. Yeah. The environment. Where they feed on. Yeah. And they'll come and tell you, but sisi kama Wakikuyu, we don't cook. But asubuhi alikuwa amekupikia chai anasema I don't cook.
What he's feeding on.
Feeding on.
Wow, interesting. So in dealing with the toxic and non-toxic kind of things, what is the role of the family in trying to take care of those kind of occurrences that bring a man to end up being toxic? Where he grew up, the family setup, what is the role that family plays?
One thing I'll talk about is church first before the family. I'll advocate for PMCCs, but it depends where you go and do your premarital classes if you get married. Why? Because we have sessions that I've seen in other PMCCs called unmasking the past. So until you're able to now work on your past, unmask a few things that you've been able to learn from your past, and then bring them now, to deal with them now, and look at how they're going to affect your future. We are dynamic. The thing that used to work happened in the 20s, in the 80s, not happening right now. Even like maybe cooking, washing dishes. It was a women's thing. We marry a lady and Lu say or Kiswahili, umepata jiko. So this lady is supposed to be in the kitchen. But because the dynamics are changing, now where the church comes to help you unlearn what is not equally what makes a marriage. Then the family comes in to support her by now. When there are conflicts or the way people are raised up. Shida tuko now, when people are planning for marriage, in terms of family, we look so much on, hey, our daughter is going to be married for the first wedding in our family, yeah? But you don't take these people into a place where can you learn about their culture? We do a lot of scrutiny about probably, has she been married before? No. Him before? No. Oh yes, what's happening? But don't look at background. How is their family? How are they raised up? That's the class of PMCC is very important to help them understand. We used to treat each other like this, our family, but now I'm marrying this person. The lady who was having a PMC with us, and this lady, have done 3 sessions. We had a session that talk about unmasking your past. So the first question was, what is this fear that you have about marriage? This chick said, I'm afraid if I marry this guy, he will leave me as the way my dad left my mom. So now my past is very hard, and I'm not sure whether this guy is going to treat me well. And that's when someone is in a marriage and the husband, or not about the husband, men toxicity, so when the husband is maybe treating this chick wrong, and this chick came from a family where the dad used to treat the mom like that, and I feel it's okay. And I feel, but this is how husbands treat each other. So the katu hapa kijo by the way inavumilia. But when the family comes to discuss, okay, this is how we used to do it. So family must involve discussion beyond dowries. Yes. So get your pesa ngapi, bei, ni talk about how you raised up. How do you go to primary school? I believe in talking about your past in terms of understanding your challenges, your fears, what you've been dealing with in your primary, even how you're brought up. There's a session you normally do in counseling. You ask someone about telling me about your childhood development in counseling. Just tell me how you grew up from primary, high school. But do you think that is done during dating and courtship?
Lay on goosebumps.
But
they feel good.
Happy status girls. Wow, awesome. Oh, and also happy Alliance boys. Awesome. But can you ask this guy, how was your childhood development? So, maybe we say alienda boarding school class 3. Try to know why. Oh, but then my mom had issues, so we could not stay together. I had to go and see my grandmother. Then I came back. So this guy is having issues to battle with. So that's why your marriage, are secure? Because he feels he's always rejected. He'll be pushed away. So can we do a background check, apart from just knowing his education background, childhood development? Then you listen, by the way, before I marry this person, you need to deal with issues about his esteem issues. Yeah.
Wow, so do your homework. That's what you can hear. Yeah. Forget about the feel-good feeling when you see this person. You feel like the makeup and
there are a lot of wounds beyond the makeups.
Yes. Yeah. So do your homework. Don't just rely on what you can see. Dig deep, because actually, even the Bible says no one goes to a construction without first of all counting the cost. So do your homework, sit back, take time and evaluate. Am I able to accommodate this? Can I deal with this? And then if you feel you're good to go, go for it. That's basically what we are trying to tell people out here. So as we close, what would be your closing remarks concerning relationships?
I'll say this. This has been a good topic.
Yeah.
And I love to say dig deep the background. And ask yourself, ask this person, how do you feel now? Because I normally assume people are okay. We are marrying people are not okay, sick people, yeah? So one thing to avoid toxicity in my relationship, deal with them during dating. Don't assume. Number 2, when they're happy in marriage, involve. Speak out and involve. Then number 3, start it right, then make it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's how we end it. Start it right, continue with it right, progress with it right, because you'll have fewer challenges to handle along the way. And remember, the space of marriage, the storms will be there, there'll be winds. Make sure your foundation is right so that even as you progress, you'll be able to withstand the challenges that come with it. And then you not brand everything as toxic. Tuko pamoja. So we close at this point. God bless you so much. See you next time.